Guys, today is Tuesday morning and May 23rd. It is the day of my induction. We're scheduled at 7:30 and it says to call an hour ahead. Penny's coming in here, you hear her jingling. So I'm about to call them right now and see if they have a bed for us and if the induction is on for today. I slept like crap. It is 6:30 in the morning. Do not feel good. Here we go.
First labor.
Hi, I'm scheduled for a 7:30 induction. I said to call an hour ahead. Thanks. I'm scheduled for an induction today at 7:30. I just wanted to know if we should come at 7:30 or...
I'm actually going to have to put you on hold.
Okay.
We have no beds available.
I had a feeling this was going to happen. What does that mean?
Okay, so what that means is as soon as we, get a discharge or somebody delivers and we get a bed available and can safely take care of you, then I'll call you in.
Okay. Do you have any guess as to when
Nope.
that might be? Okay.
No, I don't. I would say don't plan on it being during the day,
All right.
like today. So if you want to call, if you haven't heard from me by like 8 o'clock tonight, call back at 8 and see what the night looks like.
Okay.
But right now I've got every room full and like nobody delivering anytime soon. So if you need to come into the OBED, come on in and we can always check you out if you think your water breaks or you're not feeling the baby move or whatever, any need that you might have. And then we will call you as soon as we can.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, hang in there.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I knew this was going to happen. Hey guys, so we were scheduled for an induction today at 7:30. They told us no, they didn't have any rooms, but maybe had other ideas in mind. Around 11:50 or so, I started having contractions like every 2 to 5 minutes or so, and it's now what 1:20 p.m. We're already in triage at the hospital, and I have progressed in the last 24 hours. I'm 4 centimeters and 90% effaced. Water hasn't broken or anything, but the contractions are intense, so I'm already triage. So the reason we got bumped today was because they didn't have any beds available, and so the nurse checked me and, figured, okay, yeah, contractions are 3 minutes apart, they're lasting about a minute, everything, we would admit you, but she said we literally have no beds. So we're hanging out in triage for a little while. They're going to call the doctor on call and see if they can have somebody come in. Ooh, I'm having a contraction. Alright guys, not my best angle here, but we got admitted and I got my epidural. I had the shakes. If my camera is shaking, that is why. But I am finally numb. Can you hold it, honey? I am shaking. That couple of hours was awful. It is now 4:10 p.m. So I started having contractions at 11:50 and the epidural was like 3:30, honey?
Yeah.
Something like that. So now I have like the pulse reader on my finger, the blood pressure cuff, and I've been shaking so badly that when she was taking my blood pressure, when I was shaking, my blood pressure shot up, even though it's normally normal. And then we did one blood pressure reading where I purposely held myself still, calm, slow breathing, and it was fine. So, yeah, this is not a good angle. Anyway, so I am numb now. They're about to do the catheter and check me again, so we don't know. Other than when we first got here in triage, they said I was 4 centimeters, 90% effaced. Now they're going to check me again. She said there's no point in checking me if I'm going to get the epidural, they'll just wait until I'm numb. So they're going to do the catheter and check me right now, and then we'll know how long it's going to be. But because I had the shakes, it could just be because they put cold fluids into my IV. It could be because my body's in labor. It could be because I'm in transition. We don't know yet. So I'm holding off on telling the family to come or anything because we don't know what's up. So I guess I will, catch you guys up once we know more. So while I was in the hallway having contractions, I definitely, got the shakes. I was in a lot of pain. I was trying to sway and breathe and all those things that, you hear about, but did not feel good. I was crying and I ran into the doctor, sort of. They were at the desk, and she said, "Oh, well, we can order the epidural. It's going to be a little bit." And I'm like, "Okay, well, yeah, get that ordered." And it was. They had to get me with a whole bag of fluids and all that before and get me admitted and do all that crap. But they got it all in, and then went to the bathroom and puked, which you guys know I've been puking this whole pregnancy. It's not a surprise, but it's just, why would I go at 41 weeks any other way? It just kind of made me laugh. That's it for now. I'll catch you guys up in a bit. Hey guys, it is now 5:10 and I am 7 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced. They said my cervix was paper thin. Baby's still at a -2 station, which means she hasn't dropped like all the way down. My husband went to get some food. Sorry, my lips are so dry. Ew. I've been putting chapstick on, and I've just been breathing through my mouth, for the contractions, so I think that's why they're so dry. So I can't eat or anything, but I don't even feel the urge. I'm completely numb from the epidural. They did break my water, and I didn't even feel it. She just used her finger. She didn't have to use like what did she call it, amniotic hook or something like that, to break it. She said it was bulging, and she was able to just break it with her fingers. I just felt a warm gush and some pressure, but no pain whatsoever. I asked like, how much fluid is it? I know that the number was like 17 yesterday, and she said it's like a can of Coke or something. So I'm going to take a nap now. They're going to check me in an hour or so. Sorry if the camera's moving. I'm still shaking a little bit, but yeah, I'm feeling much better. I could actually sleep. So can't even tell when the epidural or when I'm having a contraction, really. She just told me, like, if I get the urge to push or if I feel like I have to poop, like a constant urge to push or poop, not just like fleeting, like when I have a contraction, then they'll come in sooner to just call them. But otherwise, they're just going to let me rest for an hour or so. So I let my husband go to the car and get a couple things from the car, and he's going to eat, not in here, while I try to rest. So just so far, it's just my husband and I. I haven't called the rest of the family in, but they're hoping I'll be ready to push in a couple of hours, maybe like 7 or 8 p.m. And keep in mind that my contractions started a little before noon, so that's pretty good. They said it would have been much slower if I had had the induction. But yeah, they had to give me the spiel about, the risks of her position. She's transverse, which means she is head down, but she's not facing, they should be facing like downwards, like towards your butt, but she's not. She's kind of facing sideways, and they have me laying on my side right now with the peanut ball. It's hard to tell, but it's like in between my legs, to try to like encourage her to flip herself, but they're not worried about it. And then I'm just going to rest, and then in a little bit they'll flip me to my other side. The epidural is working wonderfully. I can barely tell when I'm having a contraction, so all is good. I will check in a little bit. Oh, I forgot to mention, it's just like a minute later, that I got nauseous when they lowered me, so I was like laying flat so they could do the catheter and check me again. And they broke my water and everything when I was laying flat. I got really nauseous, and I've already puked once since I've been at the hospital, and so they went ahead and gave me Zofran, the puking anti-nausea medicine, through my IV, so I feel much better now. I think I am dehydrated. Look at my lips. Ugh. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll catch up in a little bit. Alright, so they flipped me to my other side because I started feeling contractions on the side I was laying on, or the side I wasn't laying on, so like the epidural was working great for the side that gravity was letting it flow to, but not to the side that was up in the air. So they flipped me to the other side. Still got the peanut like pillow thingy in between my legs. It is now 6 o'clock, and they're not going to check me for a little bit, but they did give me another shot of the epidural to see if they could also get gravity to work and get a little bit more pain meds. So it seems like it's progressing pretty quickly. And you guys know that I've been having, sorry if my finger comes in the shot like that. You guys know that I've had like physical therapy for my hands and stuff, and while my fingers are numb, like I don't even care. And the thing is, it's funny is, the epidural is only working to like waist level or like somewhere in my stomach, so my hands are not numb. Like I'm using them to hold the camera, but it's funny because I like don't care. I don't even care, and people were right. Biggest thing was my lips were chapped, so I got some chapstick from the nurse that was good, and then they flipped me, and then now my eyes are really dry, which I don't know what that's about, but I'm trying to drink some fluids. They're also pumping me with some fluids to just rehydrate me. She said my catheter output, it was good, so the Foley catheter, whatever it's called. I'm peeing enough, so it's not like I'm super dehydrated. But I'm gonna, set a goal to finish this cup of water they gave me. And the ice is good. You guys know I'm obsessed with ice chips and stuff, so always happy about that. But hey guys, it's so late. It's been a long time. It's already after 10 o'clock. A lot has happened. I've gotten like tremors, like complete shakes. I had a fever of like 102 point something. I had the epidural not being very effective. Like if I laid on my right side, my left side got, wasn't getting medicine, so I have to switch, and I keep asking for more. And they're saying that my fever is causing me to like burn up the epidural, and that's why I can feel things. I'm probably at like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for pain level when I have a contraction. Not all the time, but just like right now I'm fine in between contractions, but they're like 3 minutes apart maybe. So they gave me Pitocin to make my contractions stronger. They gave me an intrauterine something. It's like a catheter, but it goes inside of you, next to the baby, so they can measure the strength of the contraction, not just when they're happening or how far apart they are. And they said that they're actually decent strength, so they gave me more epidural and they gave me more Pitocin. They gave me more antibiotics because I have a fever, and they were pretty sure that that's what it is. So at birth, I'm going to get more antibiotics. The baby is going to get taken to the nursery and get some antibiotics. Oh, contraction. Pause, please. I got really itchy after the epidural, so then they gave me a small dose of Benadryl, which took care of most of the itching, but it made me so drowsy. So I've been sleeping off and on since like 7, which is why I haven't vlogged much. And I was trembling like this, like I could not hold the camera, so I waited until I felt a little bit better. Hope you guys don't mind, but we told their families, like, just maybe come in the morning, because it doesn't sound like things are going to move very fast, so they'll probably take a while to deliver the baby, and then it's going to take a while for the skin to skin, and then they have to take her to the nursery so she can get the antibiotics, and they take a while, like 30 minutes or something, to run the antibiotics through the baby, and they have to draw some blood to check if she has the infection, and check her temperature, do her footprints and stuff before we leave this room. And I guess they're going to remove the catheter in me before I start pushing. So yeah, I'll update you guys in a bit, but it's already like 10 something, and we got here at like noon, 12 or 1. Okay, bye. Oh, sorry it's so dark. It's still the same time. It's like 5 seconds later. So I had a fever. They gave me ice packs, and like put them under my armpit, put them in my neck, put them on behind my back, under me, so that I could have some, something to make my temperature come down. And what else, honey, did I say?
Tylenol.
And they gave me Tylenol also to bring that down like a couple hours ago. So I'm still hot, but I'm not shaking as much, so that's good.
Hand is like asleep, like you're okay, you're doing fine, Stacey, you're doing really good. Alright. What's her name?
Daisy.
Oh, Daisy Elizabeth. That's pretty. Yeah. Happy birthday, little Miss Daisy.
It's still the 23rd?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like 11
Just
o'clock?
barely. Half an hour to spare, maybe.
Like 11:30?
Alright guys, it's been a few days, I'm sorry, but I'm going to finish the rest of this birth story, labor and delivery story, vlog style. Sorry if the camera moves, I'm not a pro, I'm trying to do this in between little baby naps, so let me go ahead and show you our little Daisy Elizabeth. Right now she is fussing a little bit in her mama room, so don't be surprised if I have to pick her up and kind of soothe her, but she has just eaten, so I'll do a whole story on like the first week home and what it's been like. It's not even been a week, but today I was excited. I got a shower, I got makeup on. I feel a little bit more human, so I thought I would finish up the birth story. Things happened so fast at the end, and I really wasn't able to film anymore. So I left off about
That was easy.
So I left off about 10:30 p.m. I believe on Tuesday, May 23rd. It's now Sunday. I think it's the Sunday the 28th when I'm getting to this. We've been home from the hospital since Friday the 26th, but I just haven't gone around to it. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let me show you the baby first, and then I'll tell you what happened. All right. It looks like she's kind of falling over, so I'm gonna have to prop her up again. We used to put like a little thing around her head to prop up her head, but that's her little baby in the mama-roo. I'll do more in a bit. She has the hiccups too. I need to go fix her. She's fallen over. Okay, so about 10:30 that night, we had the epidural. It wasn't even barely taking the edge off my pain. I was in a lot of pain. Every contraction, I could feel it. They had topped off my epidural as much as possible, way more than they would of an average woman, but because my fever was so high, they thought I just kept like blowing through it, burning through the epidural medicine, and so it wasn't working. The baby's heartbeat was kind of high. It was like in the 180s. Mine was, my blood pressure, which is normally normal, was very high. I had tremors, like fever, and 102.7, I think it was at the end. Fever, the baby wasn't moving downward. She was at a -2 station. She really should have, at that point, by being at 7 centimeters for like 4 or 5 hours, she should have been moving down, progressing. So they thought, we know she's a big baby. My hips aren't gonna widen in the next hour. That should have been happening over time over the last few months. So they're not gonna widen anymore. She's a big baby. She's in distress. I'm in distress and very uncomfortable. The doctor's like, we need to talk about a C-section because this is not happening. It's not moving fast enough. Let's talk. So I said, let's do it, because I had already accepted the C-section when I was scheduled to have one for May 10th for my breech baby, and then she flipped, so the C-section was off. I was like, let's just do it. I've already, done the research. We've already had the paperwork. I've already accepted it. I had already mourned the loss of my vaginal birth that I thought I wanted, and I had accepted it, and then I had unaccepted it. Anyway, so we decided, let's do the C-section. There was just so many things pointing to, like, we need to get her out. We don't know. So that was the safest option, and I was in so much pain at that point. I just wanted it over. And I was like, so how soon is this going to happen? They're like, probably within the next 20 minutes you'll have her. I was like, done. So around 11 o'clock, they started the preparations for a C-section. So they called the anesthesiologist. They got the OR room booked. They got this like razor thing and started shaving me. They gave me this really sour grape juice like shot. It's a stomach neutralizer that like neutralizes your acids in your stomach for surgery. They topped off some other medicines. I don't even know what they gave me. They cut off ice and water altogether. I don't remember. There's just a lot of little things that they did. They handed my husband scrubs and helped him get dressed in scrubs and little booties, and everybody got all ready. All the nurses that were getting ready for the surgery. I didn't have a chance to film at this point because they were just constantly like doing this, doing that. They antiseptic washed, like brushed on this blue stuff all over my stomach, and that whole area was just scrubbed blue and shaved and antiseptic and all that stuff. They got me ready, wheeled me down, and then I was like, where's my husband? Like, oh, he's coming, they're just prepping you and he'll be in a minute. I'm like, okay. So this was like 11 o'clock on Tuesday the 23rd, and my husband wasn't there, and I kept asking, when is my husband coming? When is my husband coming? They have transferred me from the regular hospital bed, like 5 people like held one side of the sheet and like moved me to the bed next to it, and I had such a fever, guys. I was like delirious. I did not feel good, and they moved me to this like cold operating room, and I was like, oh my gosh, it feels so good in here. It was so cold. And I hear that about people with C-sections, how cold operating rooms are. I was like, this is amazing. I felt so much better just being on the cold table. And then their hands were cold, and they were touching me like, you're gonna feel this, or I'm gonna put this in. And what I didn't know at the time, and we didn't know, was that the epidural wasn't working, right? We knew that. And the anesthesiologist said, we're going to try to do this with just the normal amount of medicine, but we already know that your line isn't working. So there's a chance we're going to have to put you under general anesthesia, which means within 30 seconds, you're going to be out like a light, and you won't know what's going on. You'll be asleep when your baby comes. So I guess if you're going to be under general anesthesia, they won't let your significant other in the room at this hospital. And so I didn't know that's why. I kept saying, where's my husband? Where's Ben? Where's Ben? Is Ben here? Ben. And nobody was answering me. And then the anesthesiologist said, we're just prepping you. So they put up the blue tarp like right in front of my face. Like I could not see past it. I couldn't see anything. The only person I could see was the anesthesiologist, but I could feel people tugging. They're like, you're going to feel pressure we're not cutting or anything. We're just getting you ready. I'm like, where's my husband? I felt like people were ignoring me. I'm like, how long before he's in here? How long before the baby's here? How long? And then they asked me, because I'm shivering. They're like, okay, are you excited to meet your baby? And I'm like, where's my husband? I'm just like freaking out. The reason they weren't bringing him in, which later they told us, was that they needed to do a test on me first to determine if I had sensation. If they did a little scrape with the tool, and if I could feel pain, they were going to knock me out and he wouldn't be allowed in the room. And I couldn't feel pain. They said the best thing for you and the baby is to do this without going under. So we tried to do it without going under, and he said, I'm ready. The anesthesiologist said, I'm ready to knock you out at any point. I have the medicine right here. All I have to do is press a button, and we will. But we're going to go ahead and let your husband in. And Ben came in, and he sat next to me, and he squeezed my hand. They had my hands, like, out to the side. He was like, are you ready? You're going to meet our baby. And then, like, okay, you're going to feel pressure. And then all of a sudden, I just feel, like, immense pressure. Like, someone who's, like, 300 pounds is just pressing down on me. I don't feel pain. I just feel pressure. And they're like, that's exactly what you should be feeling. Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm like, how much longer is this going to take? You know, and they're like, you're going to have your baby out very soon. And then somebody said, like, I can see her now. And my husband couldn't see either, even though he was sitting behind my head, and the anesthesiologist was here too. He can't see past the tarp, neither could the anesthesiologist. So the two people that I could talk to didn't know what was going on. But somebody over there said, we can see her now. And I'm like, okay, like, somebody please tell me what's going on. I want to know. Like, oh, she's got hair. You know, I'm like, come on. And then suddenly she's out. I don't hear crying. I don't hear anything. It's just commotion in the room. And there's just commotion everywhere. People are, bustling. Like, somebody takes the baby. Somebody's doing this. I can't see anything. I'm numb. And then they're like, okay, you're going to feel pressure. You're going to feel this. Okay, all right. And then they're doing stuff with the placenta, delivering that. They're stitching me, whatever. I still have not seen the baby. And then I'm like, baby, I'm telling my husband, you go with the baby. So they took the baby over to the side. Like, it's like behind me, but I still can't see it. Like, the tarp is right here, and then the baby's like back there. And I'm like, tell me what's going on. Can you see her? Can you hug her? And then you hear crying, and the baby's crying. It was like the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. And he's like, she's got dark hair, and she looks good, and she's so beautiful. And he was just like excited, and I'm like, tell me, is she good? Is she pretty? Is she whatever? You know, because I have a blonde hair, blue-eyed sister, and he has a blonde hair, blue-eyed brother. And both of us have dark hair, dark eyes. And I've been wondering, like, I wonder what's going to happen, you know, if we're going to have a blonde hair baby, or I don't know. I was just excited to find out what she looked like. And I said, does she have all her fingers and toes? Is it a girl? And, you know, he's like, yep. You know, he's telling me. And meanwhile, they're just pressing on me. And the anesthesiologist is like, you're almost done. You're almost done. Like, if you can just hang out a couple more minutes. Because I kept thinking, like, how long am I going to have to do this? Like, it hurts. I want it. And he's like, it hurts. I'm like, well, no, it's just a lot of pressure. He's like, no. He's like, you're almost done. Don't like get put out now. He's like, if you're going to add time to your recovery, whatever. So they finished doing what they needed to do. They stitched me up. Later, they talked to me about my placenta, which is something else, another thing I'll talk about later. But I guess it normally comes out in like a piece, maybe 2 pieces. They had to like scrape me out to get it, and it came out in little pieces, and they had to like pull apart my placenta. Now, they were like, could there have been 2 babies? Have you had twins before? Was there a problem with your... I'm like, I have no idea, but I did have an infection. That's why I had a fever. And then they mentioned curio something, which makes me like a higher risk delivery. Anyway, so the baby might have had an infection, or might have been an infection in my placenta. Could have been because my water had been broken, but it hadn't been broken that long to cause an infection. Usually people have their water broken for a whole day before they force them to get induced, because the baby hasn't progressed on its own, you know? So they're like, we don't think that's why, but that's it. We just think you have an infection. So anyway, long story short, baby's out. She's healthy. They wheel us into a recovery room, and my husband has the baby, and they place her on me, but it's like literally right here. Like, I can't even like make out anything. I'm just kind of like trying to move my head back, but it's on a table, and I'm like trying to look at her. And I was just so happy. I couldn't cry. I was just like, instantly I felt a lot better. My fever went away. They tested like my fever, it was gone. She was fine. Her vitals were fine. Her heart rate went back down to what it should be, because it was like 180. I think I saw 190 at one point on the screen. My heart rate went fine. My blood pressure went fine. All of a sudden, like, I was better. I wasn't shaking anymore. I just felt like really freaked out. And I have numb hands anyway. Sorry, my hands. I have numb hands anyway. You guys know I've been going to physical therapy. So like, I already have trouble having sensation in my fingers. And they were like, do you want to hold her? I was like, no, I can't. You know, they not only do I have numb fingers from laying on my back and just bad circulation and whatever, they numbed me to the point where it was like up to here. So I couldn't feel anything. I was like, I can't hold her, but I want to. She's so pretty, you know. I didn't start feeling normal until about an hour after birth, but I know because they handed me, and my husband was taking pictures. Anyway, so they just kind of handed us the baby and kept monitoring us, and they kept pushing on my stomach, pushing on my uterus to make sure it was contracting and making me bleed and all that. But then they just wheeled us into the postpartum room. We got a little settled in there. I started feeling a little bit more normal. I just kind of wanted to stare at her and get to know her. They handed her to me and helped me kind of get established in nursing and all that. So I'm going to do a separate video. This is just a labor and delivery, but I'll do a separate video on like the postpartum and healing and about her and all of that. But she was born at 11:30 p.m. Of Daisy Elizabeth. She was 9 pounds exactly, 21¼ inches long. I have her head circumference and chest measurement somewhere. I'll put those on the screen. I think it's like 14.5 centimeters and 15.5 or something like that. So she was a pretty good sized baby. But that is it for now. Thanks so much for the well wishes. I do have my I'm in labor video, so you guys can see pictures of us before baby, and I have my what happens to you when you're overdue video. Lots of pregnancy stories and videos down below in the description box, so you guys can check those out. In the meantime, I am going to go hang out with my baby girl. Thanks for watching. Bye.